Hello and welcome to another colouring book review from Colour with Claire. Today I'm reviewing the UK edition of Mythomorphia by Kerby Rosanes. Now a few weeks ago I reviewed the US edition, so I'm going to be doing a bit of a compare and contrast between the versions of books as well. So let's get started. Mythomorphia is the third and final colouring book by Kerby he has announced recently, which is super sad because his work is amazing, but again, you know, he's got other things that he wants to be getting into as well. So I wish him good luck on that, and I can't wait to see what else he's got planned. So we'll start with the comparison of the covers. So the UK edition has a matte black background with a embossed and glossy illustration here and to the name and title. So there's lots of glossy details, it feels nice to the touch, the matte is such a contrast to the gloss and it just feels really quality. The US edition has none of those features. It's completely flat and it doesn't have any difference in material on the front at all. So it's the same material throughout. The cover itself feels quite plasticky. It feels like it has a plastic coating even though it is card. So it just feels really shiny. Whereas this one, as I say, is matte and gloss. So that is the first difference. The second difference, in the UK edition, the inner colour of the cover is red, which matches the title, whereas in the US edition, it's just plain white. So I think that's a really nice touch to tie in with the cover, that they've made these inside covers the same colour. So as for the paper, if I can just open up the US edition and show you the difference in paper. I'm not sure whether the camera is going to pick this up, but the US edition has a very slightly creamier tone to the paper than the UK edition. The UK edition is very flat white with black illustrations, whereas the US edition is just incrementally slightly more creamy than the UK. So really it depends what kind of look you like best, and I mean it's not that much of a major difference, so don't let that be the deal breaker. What the deal breaker may be though is that the paper is quite different. So in the UK edition, it's still really thick. It's the same as what we've come to expect from Kerby's books, lovely quality, but the US edition is thicker, and you will see this by looking at the two edges of the books. So as you can see, the UK edition is a bit thinner than the US, so that just shows you that the paper has got that bit more weight to it. It's a bit thicker. But the paper in the UK edition, as you will see, still doesn't allow for water-based marker bleed, so it's great quality either book. It's just that the US is slightly thicker. Another difference physically is the size. Mythomorphia in the UK is very slightly smaller than the US edition, which as you can see is probably about 5mm bigger. So it's not that much of a difference, but it might make those tiny details a little bit bigger for people to get into. So let's have a look through the UK edition. Now the illustrations are all exactly the same in both books, so you're not going to be missing out on anything, or there isn't anything extra added in either book. So they're both exactly the same illustration wise, and as you will have seen on my previous video of the US edition, the illustrations are absolutely amazing. This is Kerby's best book yet by far, in my opinion, and as it's going to be his last, it really seems fitting that he's given his all into this book. I mean, with it being obviously about myth and legend, you've got so many different creatures and there's just so much interest and detail on each page. You know, it's just crazy the amount of detail he's gone into. And it's, like I say, it's just adding more interest. I mean, his first two books, the original Animorphia was obviously all animals and doodles. Imagimorphia had more like construction and an amalgamation of machinery and animals, whereas this one is obviously about legendary beasts. So they all have something different to offer, but I just feel that this one is just crazy good. So as you can see here, this is the first page I've completed. It's a Medusa style image, and I decided to just make the snakes all different rainbow colours and give her some weird green alien skin. And I coloured this with prismacolor pencils and statler colour pens, which are water based, and as you will see on the back, there's absolutely no bleed through or shadowing whatsoever. So brilliant paper, whichever version you choose. So there's just so many different types of creatures in this book. Everything is a wonder to look at, and I'm still discovering pages, even though I've been through the book so many times, I'm still discovering pages that I didn't realise were there. I love this unicorn with all the roses in his hair as his mane. You know, it's absolutely, the time and effort and thought that's been put into this book is just absolutely incredible. I mean, look at this double page spread. We've got a mermaid and a merman. You know, it's just, they go together so well. You could even split them up and frame them side by side. And also they've got the items and things that you can find in the book. So it is carrying on that theme from the previous books of hide and seek with certain items. And these are all the answers, which I'll just go through very quickly. And the back page. So this is the last change to the book that I'm going to compare with the US. As you can see here, the inside cover is red again, and it's showing full colour versions of Kerby's previous books. Now in the US version, I did that there, but this US version is completely black and white and not very outstanding, to be honest. I think I definitely prefer that they've put some colour into this, and you know, it makes a lot of difference really, I think, to have colour, especially in a book that's all completely monochrome. So I hope that you've enjoyed looking at the English edition or the UK edition compared with the US edition. So it really depends. If you want those very slightly larger pages with very slightly thicker paper, go for the US. If you like how this has been put together physically with the glossy details and the super white paper, then go for the UK edition. Worth mentioning, the US edition is out now, but the UK edition isn't released until July this year, so you can pre-order it for about £9.99. I'll leave all the links in the description below, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.